So, I'm sure you've noticed, if you're one of our listeners, that I took an unexpected summer hiatus. I know it's summer, I have ADHD, plants and mushrooms and all those things took precedence in my mind. But don't worry, I am thinking of you, and John, who is the co host for this episode from Open Pike Night, is now reviewing the new Strange New Worlds show that is out now. So stick with us, and I appreciate everyone who listens, and I hope you enjoy this episode. It's episode 2. Maybe this is why I waited so long, because it's a hard one, folks. But we'll move on. Don't worry, I've already recorded the next several episodes. I'm editing. I'm doing all this stuff myself, but I'm getting it to you. I love you. Thank you so much for listening.
He's dead. Who? I don't know you. Don't go in there.
Stop it!
I'm telling you, go back.
No!
His brains are on the floor. You're lying.
Come along with us on an idle ride through the latest science fiction and fantasy shows, movies, and video games. Welcome to Idle Ride. I'm Marcy, your host, here with my co-host and chosen brother, Paul.
Hello, everyone.
And today we are going to review the saddest episode of television, and we are joined by John from Open Pike Night and Green Shirt, a newbie's trek through the next generation, and he's here to be our emotional support co-host. Thanks for joining us, John.
It's been a long time coming. I remember how hard I took it when I saw the Who Shot Mr. Burns episode of The Simpsons, and that I've never been sadder watching a television episode. So it's good to be here to finally talk about it.
Yeah. We'll get through this together.
Maggie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels to other movies and other moments and shows that really struck us hard like this, but this is one of the tougher ones, I would say, or
I
the
just wiped a
toughest
tear
one
from
I've
my
ever
eye.
watched. Yeah, I mean, I know that you picked some clips, Paul, but I'm sorry to do this to you. I do have that scene as a clip, and so it'll be interesting to just hear it instead of watching it.
You apologized, but I was actually going to joke about our sadistic audience members will want to hear this.
They will. I mean, I think it's important to listen to it so they can hear us cry on the air, because that'll just get us more views and listens. Just kidding. All right, well, let's get started. So the first scene is Abby's nightmare, and we meet Abby's gang. The key moments from this is that Abby has a nightmare of finding her dad dead, and herself from the future is telling her not to go in and find him because it's gruesome. Abby and her gang hole up in a lodge above Jackson Hole. They set up a watch and discuss how huge the city is. And Owen, Abby's second in command, has already assessed the town and is reasonable about not being able to find Joel. Abby is putting forth brutal methods about finding Joel and taking him out, and Owen says he has a plan. Abby is freezing as she goes out on watch, and Owen says he needs time to convince Abby to leave. So, this scene, opens up with Abby. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, it makes sense with where they left off in the last episode. I have never played I've never played The Last of Us 2. I'm not nearly as emotionally impacted by this episode. I know how the game goes. I haven't been in a black box, but mainly with my whole thing is like, okay, they have a story to tell. They have to tell it. Realistically, though, it's like, wow, so none of the 5 or 6 of you made any emotional changes to yourselves in the last 5 years of surviving in Seattle in apparently a militarized zone that is prepared for war at any time. Like, really? It's like you didn't have this conversation at all on the way down. Like, hey, Abby, maybe this isn't a good idea.
I feel like they said that many times, and she's like, fuck you, you're not listening, you don't care about my trauma and my pain.
Yeah, they all
the only
stuck
thing that
with
matters.
her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get that it has to happen for story reasons, but I'm like, wow, none of you just said, you know what? You're fucking annoying. It's been 5 years and your dad probably tried to kill the guy. So,
And like, your dad did kind of suck.
yeah.
John, I feel like you're trying to defend Joel here, and I don't agree with that. No, just kidding.
Marcy very much agrees with defending Joel.
Yes, yes. But I can see how this is a very game-centric season. I feel like it is almost more like the game than the previous season in some of these elements, because I've seen some playthrough moments and I know that there are times when, you know, you take over as Abby, and one of them is after you kill Joel, apparently they thrust you in to play Abby to help her escape. So I think this is what they're trying to do, is help you somewhat empathize with Abby, because they know this huge moment is coming. And so to do that, we have to learn a little bit about their crew. I obviously agree with you that it makes sense that Abby is still stuck in that moment because it was so pivotal to her. And like Paul says, it was a trauma. And Paul asked me this question last episode about like, would you agree with Abby in this and like continue to go forth? And it is kind of hard to believe, especially like the medic girl who in the end can't even like watch
Mel.
Joel be tortured. Yeah. Is like still going along with Abby. So we have to assume that this is unusual for Abby, maybe. And in some ways, after watching the next 2 episodes, episode 3 and 4 of The Last of Us, I feel like there's a lot of Abby and Ellie parallels that obviously I'm sure they did in the game on purpose. And I don't know how the game ends, so don't tell me, Paul. Like, I actually do want...
Actually, no spoilers. Okay.
Actually, no spoilers for some of that. But I do
Ellie
think...
nukes New Vegas.
I do think that that's what they're trying to say here. And Paul, I remember talking about the us and them ethics of Joel and Ellie. Basically, he's passed it on to Ellie. That the showrunners, I've been watching the after stuff, specifically said, so especially in episode 4, there's the us versus them, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, like, because that's really what it is. It's like, are we going to stop doing the killing and us versus them mindset? Or are we going to continue to just kill people if they do something bad to us like the Old Testament?
I just wish that the us versus them mentality came up against cancer and the flu, because those things kill so many people, including my own mother, and I would love to get revenge on the fucking flu for once.
I love that, Paul.
Yeah.
I like how they establish all the different side characters' personalities pretty organically in this scene. Like, you get to see all the different people, the obviously more brutal team members and the more empathetic team members, and you get a picture of that pretty quickly in this scene. And again, as people from Alaska, we always love a good winter scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, it's cold. Winter exists. You guys knew it was going to be cold. You are
Yeah.
Also,
you guys
it's
failed
probably-
to plan.
It's probably 10 degrees, 15 degrees colder in winter now. What are we, a decade and a half into the post-apocalypse? Like, yeah, it's going to get colder when something like that happens. Like, you knew this. Come on.
Also, Andrew and I were like, there's lots of equipment for cold weather.
Yeah.
You're literally in Wyoming. Just go to an outdoor store and you're not going to be cold outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
like you'll have to kill like 30 REI zombies or whatever, but it's fine.
I don't think Wyoming gets Fairbanks cold. And I literally wore a regular winter jacket and a hat,
Wyoming gets windy.
even in
though.
50 below.
Wyoming
That's
gets
true.
extremely windy. Even Jackson Hole, where like because it's it's a hole. It gets a lot of circular winds going through there. Yeah.
So
Well, that could make a difference.
it's not a sex thing, the
No.
whole?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
I got Marcy. Yes.
All right. Well, there's not a lot to say. Abby has nightmares about her dad.
Mhm.
Whatever. Let's move on.
We have no empathy for her trauma nightmares. Bleh.
So the next scene is Ellie and Jesse talk Dina. The town is on alert, and Seth, the bigot, is forced to apologize. So in this scene, Ellie is hungover from a night of drinking. Jesse wakes Ellie up for patrol. Ellie awkwardly tells Jesse about Dina. Jesse asks her about Seth, the bigot, and Joel, and messes with Ellie a bit. The town is on alert. Jesse explains that infected are insulating themselves under other dead infected. Ellie is being pissy to Jesse and says she wants to go with Joel on patrol because they work things out. Jesse says Joel went on patrol already with Dina. Lots of drama. Sorry. Tommy is going over emergency procedures with the town. Maria takes Ellie over to Seth the bigot, and he apologizes. Ellie does not accept the apology. She just stares at him blankly. Jesse and Ellie go on patrol, and a blizzard is blowing in. I do have that very beginning part of the scene as a clip for Paul, so let's play that first.
Hey. Wow, you look like shit.
Dude, what do you want?
I want you to fulfill your obligation to the community of Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Jesse's
8
so
a.m. patrol.
cute.
It's 8?
No, it's 7:30, but you're riding with me and I like to be on time.
Okay, give me a minute, I'll get changed.
I heard you had quite the night after I left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she kissed me. It was just Dina being Dina. She was high, she won't even remember.
I was talking about some fight you had with Seth and Joel. You kissed her.
No.
You've been broken up 1 week and you made a move on her?
I didn't make...
Seriously?
Dina, it didn't mean anything. She was probably just trying to make you jealous. It didn't mean anything. It didn't. I wouldn't do that.
I'm screwing with you, man. I already know. I don't care. Come on, get dressed. Gotta go.
I like to be outside,
the
but I like
worst.
to screw with you.
It's kind of fucked up you did that, though.
It's a good little scene. Yeah.
I love him. He revealed so much in that. Like, he cares about the town. He likes to be punctual. He's not gonna hold a grudge. He's like a Mr. Peanut Butter. Everyone loves him.
Yeah. Well, it's not this episode, it's the next episode where somebody calls him Captain Wyoming, right? Like, and I'm like, oh, that's a
I
great.
think so,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, that's okay. Very, very good description of a very fun, like simple little, like, oh, okay, that's the kind of guy we're dealing with. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he obviously loves both of these girls. And the most important thing to him is not the sex piece with Dina or the relationship piece with Dina. It's that everybody is together. And
Yeah.
yes, obviously he wanted to have a relationship with Dina, but he knows what's most important is that we all get along, and there's friend groups where this kind of stuff happens, and he's being very mature about it all. And I'm sure he's picked up on a little bit of sexual tension between, I mean, how could you not, between Ellie and Dina?
Yeah. Yeah.
They just danced, and he's like, I can't watch them dance.
And then I love that they're just discussing that the town is getting ready, and Ellie's really bitchy and like, why do we have to be so serious about this? Like fucking zombies, Ellie, just because you're immune doesn't mean everybody else is.
Yeah.
And
And
then
even if you're immune, they're still gonna bite you and it's gonna hurt. Like, come on.
yeah. Or they could rip you to shreds and kill you,
Yeah.
right?
Or that.
So I do have the part where she talks about wanting to go out with Joel on patrol. So let's listen to that.
Suck my dick.
Also, somebody told the council a ghost story about the world's smartest infected, and now everybody's spooked out of their minds.
It wasn't a ghost story. You know what? No offense, man. I'm gonna do my patrol with Joel.
Yes, offense, because that's the one person you've
I
been
wish
avoiding
he
like
had.
the plague.
Well, we're better now, okay?
As of when? Because last night
Yeah, I know
def-
what happened last night. Can you shut the fuck? My shit with Joel is complicated. I know that. From the outside, it probably looks really bad. It has been really bad. But I'm still me. He's still Joel. And nothing's ever gonna change that. Ever. So you can all stop talking about us, worrying about us, and thinking about us. Alright?
So you two hash it out. All right.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go on patrol with him. Like fucking daddy-daughter day. Okay? Okay.
He already went out.
What? With who?
Dina left an hour ago. For what it's worth, he wanted to go with you, but he said we should let you sleep.
So I absolutely adore this scene because I love that Ellie curses so much. I love that she's like, I'm an adult. I can say whatever I want
Yep.
now. Fuck you
And
guys.
drink, apparently. So Wyoming, they dropped the drinking age, I guess.
Mine as
Yeah.
well,
Yep.
because people are going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and like, most therapists are dead, so
Yep.
Yeah, alcoholics, everybody in Jackson Hole. And I love the scene because it continues to illustrate how much Joel and Ellie are very similar and that she doesn't want to talk about it. Joel doesn't like talking about his feelings. Neither of them do. And I realized, Paul, that maybe I might have misinterpreted the porch scene because she thinks that they're good now. And we always expect people to talk through things. You said it actually happened in the game. But to me, maybe when she walks by him and he's playing the guitar and they give each other that look, I'm crying again. Maybe to her, that was them making up, right? Because they don't ever talk. They don't talk through their things. They just look at each other, right?
that's a really interesting point. I guess, yeah, I could look at you right now and have like a complicated string of thoughts and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. And you'll never know. And like, that's good.
I'm not sure I agree with that is what was going on with the porch scene, but it definitely wasn't a clear. I mean, it's meant to be ambiguous. It's meant to be a,
Right.
unknown. This is the final look between us kind of thing. But,
It isn't the final look though, but
True,
it is
true.
the happiest final moment.
Yeah.
Happiest.
yeah,
It's the most drama.
I don't know if I believe my interpretation of it myself, but I think it's interesting that she says here that they've worked through their issues.
Mhm.
And so to me, even though she's a young girl who's trying to get out from underneath the shadow of her father, in the scene at the dance, when he comes to her defense,
Through the valley of the shadow of her father.
she hates that he did it. But even like as a daughter, you would be like, I knew he would have my back. Like, so like you can always count on your dad, no matter what, to come to your defense. At least you feel that way as a daughter. Who
If you have a
has
Joel type dad.
Yeah.
a Joel type dad, which I do. So like, no matter what, like my dad's the kind of dad is like, well, I can go kill that guy. Like seriously, he said that to
I
me
believe it.
before.
Yes.
About
And, like-
Paul. So yeah,
And Marcy's like, no, we do a podcast together. It'd be
Yeah.
really lame.
yeah.
So I love this dynamic. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the dad and daughter dynamic in movies. I think it's something that I can connect with. And so I made up this scenario, maybe in my head, from this one line And then later in episode 3, she says that I don't regret anything, kind of, in the scene with the therapist.
Mhm.
And I feel like in the moment on the porch, she felt like even though they didn't speak, there was enough between them that she doesn't feel like she regrets necessarily everything that she did in not talking to him. I mean, I'm sure she does, but in that moment with the therapist, it also feels like she's got a goal, revenge, and, you know, she had enough where she feels like she's not like extremely devastated that she didn't talk to him, because they never talk. They just look at each other, play guitar, or fight.
Yeah.
That was their love language.
Or make stupid jokes.
Yes.
Stupid jokes.
Dad jokes,
yes.
We should at least say that, like, yes, in the game, the patrol is different. Joel goes with his brother Tommy. They did this for many good reasons. One of the reasons was that, you know, more screen time with Dina, make it more of like not a jealousy thing, but like, you know, give him more time with the character that he's getting along with the best at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that change absolutely matters, but it doesn't really matter.
I watched this with somebody who has played the game a lot, and so I get to hear about all the differences.
Good.
I don't understand the obsession with, well, she doesn't look like Abby. It's like, yeah, because she's a video game character. They're not going to find the perfect actor who looks exactly like the computer fictionalized video game character. But also, it makes sense that they would change that, because in the game you have 30 hours to spend with Dina. In this show, you have about, at best, 6.5 more hours for this season.
Good point.
So,
yeah, you can stall and look for every secret you want and like get all the little dialogue options, and there's a lot of them. In the game, Abby spent the last 5 years or whatever just doing pull-ups to like, I'm gonna pull Joel to his death. Like, that was her only goal. And this Abby, she looks like she could kill me. So very hot.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is so funny is I don't care how you portray characters necessarily. You could have a different gender, you could have a different ethnicity, you could have any difference, as long as the essence of what that character is comes through, and that the important story elements that obviously people care about come through in the story. And so I think that this Abby, actually the character they picked to play Abby looks more like Ellie from the game, which is funny. But I mean, I don't really care about that. I want her to be intense, and she was intense. She had the right acting range for it. And you know, in all honesty, I feel like it makes more sense that she would use her smarts, and she takes him out with the gun. Great. Like, she's using things to her advantage that she should. And yes, the Abby from the game, I remember, she looks like really buff. And there are really buff women in this world. But I think they're trying to also make that parallel between Ellie and Abby and have their body types be kind of similar.
Yeah.
So the reason Joel would never have probably picked a dude up and been like, okay, come with me. But it's a young girl that looks just like Ellie. So he takes him along with her. Like, all of these things were for a reason. Like, if she had kind of looked buff and like she was a military person, he probably would have thought a little more about it. But she kind of looks like Ellie. So, of course, he took her with him. He thought he could trust her. And that was his biggest mistake, was being kind of soft now from living in Jackson. Like,
fucking
people.
Sexism.
Kind of the next portion of that scene is Jesse and Ellie going into the town hall meeting. Tommy is talking about all the different safety features. Of course, Ellie goes up to Maria and starts talking during his speech, and Maria's like, shut the fuck up. Let him. You should be listening to this too.
He's my man.
And then we get a moment here with Seth, which I also have a clip for that as well.
This is bullshit, right? It's just a drill. Yep, it's a drill.
Unless we're attacked, and then it's not.
Correct. Oh, fuck me. Stay where you are. Thank you. Seth, we have something to say?
Yeah, so last night I obviously had a few too many.
It happens to everyone. People get drunk and say awful shit they've never thought before. Oh.
No, that's fair. I shouldn't have said it.
A thought crime, Paul.
I shouldn't have even thought it. I'm sorry. I made you two some sandwiches if you're going out there.
Some rat poison sandwiches.
They're steak.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, you be safe out there.
Yep.
Yep. I have that in my notes. Yep.
So Seth, the bigot, I actually, as much as you don't like him really, he has a good arc in this episode and the next episode. And in the world that we live in now, I feel like it's a very important character to be presented. That you can feel one thing and then realize your mistake and change your ways and do something that's good. For example, he said she was a dyke, and then he ends up the next episode helping her.
Literally being an ally.
Yeah.
But also, I think an important distinction, an important thing to address and for people to realize is like, you can think a thing, you can still think that thing and do the right thing at the same time. It's like,
Exactly.
like assuming that Seth is just like, oh, I've seen the light. I'm changed my ways the way I was, raised believing. It's like, no, he hasn't changed his mind. He realizes what he did is wrong. I feel like there's a societal belief that you have to completely change who you are before you can ever do something good. And it's like, yeah, no. So see, there's this area called gray, and almost everybody lives in that area. And so it's obviously not going to say heavy-handed, but it's not subtle what they're doing with different characters in this show. And I think they used him well so far. I'm glad he's a character in this series because it's good to show. It's like, yeah, the old world was the old world. It's what happens when you hold on and let stuff fester or don't. You can make a choice.
Yeah, and so this is a great example of the show being different from the game. The game, happened many years ago, and his apology was absolutely a non-apology in the game. And in this one, he actually said, like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have thought that. Like, it was wrong of me. And in the other one, it was just like, yeah, I did the wrong thing, and I'm in trouble, and so I made you a sandwich. Sorry.
I mean, in all honesty, I feel like that's the more realistic version of that apology.
Yeah.
This John said.
Nicer. This is more aspirational. And yeah, the
Yes.
gray area thing. So there's this story I read a long time ago about a king who is trying to get kudos for being tolerant of things. And the person asking them questions was like, yeah, but do you actually dislike the things that you're tolerant of? And the king was like, no, I'm cool with it. It's like, then you're not being tolerant. Like, tolerant is a virtue because it's hard.
Right.
I'm not tolerating you guys. Like, I love you guys. It's not tolerance. Tolerance is when you disagree with someone at a deep level and still know that they're humans and they exist and that you shouldn't, like, fuck with them for that.
That's a very eloquent way to say that there are going to be people in your life, even you guys, that probably disagree with me on certain issues I don't know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there might be a moment where you're like, oh, that's something I never knew about you. But are you going to give up 25 years of friendship because that one person might think something? Maybe it is about doing the work to help people understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that Andrew and I talk about a lot. Like, how do you actually convince someone to change their ways for the right? Because a lot of times I do feel like I'm right, and they're wrong. But the way is either shame, which we've learned in recent society that we don't like shame. And the other way is to like question why these people have these ideas, to talk to them about it empathically. But guess what? That takes a lot of time, and shame's a lot easier. So sometimes I do say, well, let's just shame that person, because in the moment, we need to make sure they know that they shouldn't be saying certain things like that gay people are dykes and should not have the rights that we have. But, you know, also they're trying this empathetic route. Sometimes and that's kind of shameful for him. He was shamed to make an apology, right? So I think it is more realistic that he wouldn't have said it the way that he does in this episode. But I do think it's realistic that he would have the same views as Ellie about we need to make them pay for what they did. Because he respects Joel. If he doesn't respect Ellie, he respects Joel, right? And so it is unfortunate that sometimes they have similar views, but Joel loves Ellie. And Joel doesn't care if Ellie's gay.
And Joel
maybe
could beat me up, so
different.
maybe I love Ellie too.
Well, it's just like, this person looks like me and acts like me, but this very important difference that we have, maybe I should rethink it. And sometimes it just takes that role model, right?
Yeah.
Of somebody who's hyper masculine actually having reasonable ideas about X, right?
And kind of critically, they're in an apocalypse. This town is like the 150 or whatever people that matter the most to you. And Ellie has proven that she can kick some ass, and so it'd be better to be on her good side than to call her a dyke.
Right.
And then, you know, a zombie happens to be about to rip your face off, and you're like, help me, Ellie. And she's like, I don't know, you called me a D word.
Well, right, yeah. It's within your best interest to be on the good side of the people who are fighting for you when you're doing kitchen duty. Anyway, so...
Not to shit on kitchen duty.
No, that's important too, but it's sort of like in the silo, there's the engineers, and then there's the people who make food. Yeah. And they're more like, he's an engineer, Joel's he's the contractor, okay? Don't fuck with Joel. Okay.
And because you made me think of it, I'm going to inflict this upon all of you. The Civil War, the worst fighters were given kitchen duty, and everyone was miserable because of it.
Well, let's move on to the next set of scenes. Abby is on watch, and Ellie and Jesse hole up at a 7-Eleven. So in this scene, or these sets of scenes, Abby is freezing on watch, but hears a horse neigh and identifies a patrol. I don't know if horses neigh that much when you're riding them, but whatever. Tommy
Nay, I say to you.
Yeah, we'll ignore a lot of the physics that happen in this episode.
Yeah. Tommy has poor reception from the patrols, and he tries to call all the patrols back. Jesse and Ellie take shelter in a 7-Eleven. There is weed everywhere in the 7-Eleven. Jesse says Eugene, a.k.a. Gail, the therapist's husband, set up the weed farm, and we learn Eugene was a firefly. Jesse mentions that Joel had to put Eugene, quote-unquote, down and couldn't be saved, and Ellie looks remorseful after he makes that statement. So I don't think I have any clips in this particular scene. I'm very curious, Paul. This is, again, something happened with Eugene, but I can't stop thinking of him as Eugene Levy.
Absolutely.
From
No.
Schitt's
Let's
Creek.
establish right now. It was Eugene Levy. like Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
Like, yes, we are
Whoever plays
person.
him, we know who it is.
Yes.
I can just see him smoking weed with his gas mask on, living his best life out there to get away from Gail, who's a hardcore alcoholic and constantly giving him shit. I mean, they basically are the couple from Schitt's Creek.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Just in the apocalypse.
Yep.
And last night I was thinking that Macaulay Culkin was Frank.
Yeah.
I kind of keep thinking that, let me straighten out my thoughts. So at first, I kind of thought Ellie knew the secret about the fireflies because of all this like secrecy around Eugene. But I think one of the falling out moments between Joel and Ellie had to do with Eugene because they don't mention that he turns into a zombie, but he still had to be put down.
Yeah.
So maybe he learns that Ellie is immune and Joel has to put him down, or like, what was it? And I know we're going to find out.
Well, but that implies Jesse knows too then.
Well, because they probably got their story straight, right? Ellie and Joel.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a moment where Joel had to protect Ellie from Eugene, and Joel, of course, murders him because that's what he does when he has to protect Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And then
when you got
Ellie
a hammer.
witnessed it. And so she has to keep that secret from everybody, but she doesn't care about keeping the secret. She just didn't like the way Joel did it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
In the game, Eugene doesn't show, and he's just some guy who had like a stroke or something. And his biggest influence is that he's got little hidey holes in the town where you can find equipment and weed. So not that you can partake of it in the game, but
well,
the save point is just smoke a joint.
Dude, wouldn't it be great if I just like ran that way? Nope, that was terrible. Terrible idea. Let's do this way then.
Well, I have a lot of theories. Maybe it's just a red herring. I don't know, but I feel like whatever falling out they had, it had to do with Eugene, that bastard.
Eugene Levy.
So this is a strange episode to talk about because this is an episode that is set piece after it's moving characters into place for the final interaction. Like it feels like, you know, we would have talked before on Green Shirt or something on a 2-parter. It's like, well, all we're doing is setting up the second part of this. If they knew what they were doing, or, you know, it's just or on Discovery, more like the Star Trek Discovery. Like, yeah, they're just episodes where it's only getting people to the points they need to be for the next episode to happen. I'm just glad it happens in one episode here. But it is strange because some of this stuff is like, okay, if none of this was here and it was just an extended, you know, Joel interaction with Abby and all that, we'd still have the same consequence. But I like the attack on Jackson Hole. I have thoughts about the attack on Jackson Hole too.
Oh God,
But,
John, it was so hard for me to not spoiler some of the things I want to say about it. So I hope it's the same as what I want to say about it. Anyway,
but yeah,
and if not, we'll tolerate each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's a strange thing to talk about an episode that like has one point. It's like when you know what the most important thing to happen in the episode is before you even watch the episode.
Yeah, one thing I love about that is they give a real reason for why no one is out there, no one's helping. Like, yeah, there's an attack going on. No one's looking for Joel. Like, you are suddenly back to being alone like you were in the first game when you were trying to get between two big places. The game hinted at the attack, but like didn't really ever show that there was an attack on Jackson Hole. So it was
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this is again where it's more like a game. Because you're running on your horse here and you're running on your horse here. Oh, I'm side questing over to the 7-Eleven. Oh, look, it's a weed store and I can put this gas
why
mask
is that
on.
Here?
Yeah, I mean,
and why
they're
are there
not
always more zombies?
Yeah.
So I think in some ways, for me as a gamer, it's obvious to me. I was like, oh yes, this is like. So where the game was, I could imagine being in the mine, like all these things, like in the mine building and like sneaking around and like all that stuff. So for me as a gamer looking in, it's not as difficult to watch as I think someone who is like looking at it. You're more of like a film person. You did a lot of film stuff. So from an
producer is your first name.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of the better episodes. The next 2 episodes are kind of slow. There's a lot of action in this.
Yeah.
And again, for me, when I first watched it, not the second time, of course, I was still hoping maybe I heard there was some changes happening based on the game versus the show. Maybe they will keep Pedro alive, but so it was sadder for me to see that they actually do kill him, which I think is the right move because it matches the game content. But I was holding out hope that maybe I'd get to see my beautiful Pedro just a little longer.
So much debate about when and where to put the death of Joel. They didn't want to drag it out because they didn't want fans to think like, is this the episode? Is this the episode? Is this the episode? Like there's so many little details of like, when should we do it? How should we do it? Like, apparently getting ahead to the death scene, they talked about whether or not to like show Abby punching him in the face. And they're like, that's a little too action movie. So like they had a lot of care, for this episode. And yeah, it was just get this plot point done so we can get to more stuff. But like
that makes sense for this episode then.
Yeah.
They were like, let's rush to this moment so we can move on to Ellie's journey.
But there were also beats like the fence caving in as Abby's trying to crawl through. Like that's absolutely a game scene.
And
but we're getting
terrifying on film. I mean, we're about to get there anyway, right? We're
we're almost there.
Yeah.
Well, let's let me do my little key moments, and then that's definitely one of the things I want to go over is that scene. So the next set of scenes is Abby falls down a mountain, the Horde is activated, Joel rescues Abby, and Tommy is worried. So in this scene, Abby falls down a mountain into a pile of dead infected. She activates a Horde. Abby sees an old mine and jumps the wall. She gets stuck behind a slowly deteriorating fence, as we just discussed. That was terrifying. Joel saves Abby with his classic gun. Abby hears Joel's name. Joel interrogates Abby a bit and then takes her with him. Abby suggests they go to her place in the lodge, and Tommy and Town have heard from everyone but Joel. Let's talk about her falling down the mountain first onto the dead infected pile. You guys have anything to say about that?
Why was the entire population of Wyoming pre-breakout of cordyceps standing in that valley waiting to be frozen to death?
Okay,
that
John,
was such a big horde. It's just fun nitpicky TV watching stuff. I'm like, that's a lot of people in the state of Wyoming. Like this is the biggest gathering in the history of Wyoming outside of Cheyenne. So it's just pretty impressive. That's all I'm saying.
So the thing is that skiing has become really expensive. So they go to Wyoming and they do some shitty skiing on their shitty little hills. I'm not actually shitty on Wyoming. I don't know much about it. But I felt like the population slowly accumulated there, but I like your take on it.
Yes. Well, and my thought was sort of that the mycelium tendrils send out their little thingies and they identify where there's people, and there was people coming towards Jackson Hole. So slowly the infected started coming there. But once winter hit, I don't understand the intelligence behind like they're going to hide under the bodies. Like they don't have thoughts, but maybe the mycelium knows to like keep its fruiting bodies underground during winter. I don't know.
I wouldn't put intelligence behind it. I think it just worked out that way. Like the top ones died and the ones underneath just kind of like, yeah, let's not move.
Yeah. I mean,
they just were
dormancy basically.
Yeah.
But not dormant enough to not wake up when one person falls near them in the dead of winter.
Yes.
Like, it's still cold. When you get up and run, it's still cold. Like,
which is why I loved Marcy saying in the last episode, like, yeah, the water's dripping on the houses. Like, it's starting to be spring. Like, it might be time for them to wake up.
Yeah.
And also, there is, like, insulation when you get under snow. Snow is warm. That's why people make igloos or snow caves, because once you're in there, it's warm. So they're still partially warm down there. And once the little feelers feel the tick, tick, tick of Abby's feet, they jump out of the ground.
I also just really, as someone who's thought, a few times about avalanches, the idea that like maybe an avalanche happened and they just kind of like, okay, this is nice because they're not humans, they're cordyceps, and then they crawl out of the snow. Like, I don't know how to crawl out of snow during right after an avalanche. Like, that's
like
hard.
I said, we have to ignore a lot of physics in this episode.
Of physics.
Because
yeah,
it's like,
but
the
like
packing of the snow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how are they running on top of the snow that has not been trodden on? How is the hill that
let's
she
not
falls
talk
down
about
not
that
have a
stupid
single
Alexa.
exposed rock? It's just a smooth slope where snow sticks to the whole thing evenly. Whatever. It's
We are
TV.
your
It's
nightmare.
TV.
We know about snow physics. No, but like the idea of like them tremorsing out of the snow really freaked me out.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, again, extremely evocative and terrifying scene.
Yeah.
Very well done. It's like, okay, this is the world we're in. Got it.
Well, and I want to raise the ethical questions here of Abby, who has come to just kill Joel.
And now she unleashed a whole horde on a city.
Yeah, so she just came to kill Joel, and she just murdered like hundreds of innocent people by waking up that horde, and doesn't give a shit. Like, so she murdered 100,000 people, basically. Not that many, but a lot. And Joel killed 19. I don't know. Death count.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're going on straight body for body here. Plus whoever the hell those people were on the trail later on, which I know wasn't she and her gang alone, but it's like, yeah.
And, you know, Abby was playing fast and loose with her morality. She's like, yeah, let's just like torture some of the scouts and see if Joel's going to be, you know, somewhere. And in a town of that size, which based on what Marcy you just said, 100,000 people. I know you didn't say that, but there's going to be more than one Joel.
I think it is like thousands. I think there's like 3,000 people, they say, at the end of the last episode or something.
Yeah. So it would have been hilarious if they got the wrong Joel.
It would have been great to see a moment's hesitation from Abby. I know they were trying to convey it, but man, she is super two-dimensional. It's just like, well, here's Joel. Like you said, Marcy, not going to consider the giant horde that I just unleashed and, you know, potential implications of that. I'm still going to get him back to my place to kill him. Like, can we get a third dimension here a little bit? This is, I get that we're not supposed to really sympathize with her, but you got to sympathize with the villain a little bit. A little bit.
They did try to make you sympathize with her in the game, at least.
Yeah.
That's why you have to play in her perspective. Like, a lot of the game was deliberately like, I don't want to do this, but my character is doing this choice, and now I have to play that.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic that they chose. The chase scene, as we said, was amazing. She runs, jumps over the mine wall that looks like a prison wall. And then gets behind this fence, and then the zombies push the fence over, and that is one of the most terrifying scenes in a zombie movie I've ever watched. They do a couple of them, one in episode 4 in the subway cars. You haven't gotten there yet, but that's really good too. And I think part of what makes it so scary is the scene where he's pushing his hand through the fence
and it's like
to
cutting
get
his
to
hand.
her.
Yeah.
And just like, I feel the panic, and, you know, in this moment, she's not thinking about Joel. She's not thinking about anything. She's just thinking about her survival. So I think that was a good moment to kind of make you feel like you're with Abby, at least in that moment.
And one would hope that at least at some point in the future, she's going to be like, I would not be alive today if Joel didn't save my life.
Yeah.
And then I murdered and tortured him.
It would sure be nice to see that at some point. Yes.
I feel like it's really ironic that Joel saves Abby with the gun that Ellie takes as a keepsake later. Ellie has a switchblade from her mom, and I looked it up. I guess this is a Taurus Model 66 revolver that actually has like 7 bullets, not 6.
One extra bullet.
She was saved by this gun that now Ellie wants to kill Abby with. So there's lots of these interesting interconnected things happening here. But yeah, she gets saved. And I have a clip of the first very fateful calling out of the name Joel.
Up here! I'm coming!
Good? Hey, kid!
Yeah, I'm good.
Any bites?
So I had forgotten that Dina calls out Joel's name. And so I was like, when did Abby hear Joel the first time? Because they don't introduce each other. That would be dumb anyway. And then I realized that it was like the moment she came in, she heard Dina say, Joel, and you're like, no, Dina, shut your mouth.
Again, ignoring the fact that all Abby would be hearing right then would be because the gun was just fired near her head.
That is a great point.
But again, TV logic, like, yeah.
Well, they do it for a second,
Yeah.
right when it happens.
They
but
do,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Abby reaches for her gun. So do you think she would have, well, yes, she would have killed Dina and Joel, or at least wounded Joel. So her goal is to torture Joel. That's the
Yeah.
thing, is it's not like she just wants to come and kill him. She said from the very beginning
Make
that
it slow.
she's
yeah.
going to make it slow. So in that moment, do you think from the rush of her adrenaline, she would have just killed him or followed through with her revenge mission of making it slow?
I bet she would have shot him. I think so. I think, like you said, adrenaline, she's so amped up and one hasn't even confirmed, but just hears the name Joel and is like, which his name might be as far as she knows. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, I got to shoot this guy. So it's like, obviously she thinks he's handsome.
I can't wait to talk about the reaction to that line and when we get there, because the internet is aflame
Oh, yeah.
with this.
I just want to say that the slowest death that you could possibly give someone in this Last of Us universe is to turn them into a zombie. So she should have done that.
Yeah. So this is also where I wanted to talk about how I love that this show incorporates people with different abilities into the show, and it's very natural.
Ooh.
The scene with the woman that runs the radios and Tommy's telling her to call every 5 seconds or something like that, every 2 minutes.
Every 10 seconds, Amy, is what I put in my notes. You hear me?
And she's in a wheelchair, but it's never mentioned. It's organic. It's one of these things that they've done in the first season with Sam and in here where these characters are something other than their ability to walk or their ability to hear. So I love that.
Yeah, I'm going to just go on my little soapbox here and say everybody is disabled. Ableism is a concept that our social structure pushes on us to make us like work harder, work ourselves to death so that we can be cogs in their little thing. They want their replaceable human units. And if you can't walk good, then you don't fit here. But like we all have things that make us not fit to this indescribable norm. And in a society that is post-apocalyptic, people fit where they fit best. And Amy's probably great at talking, and it is a very natural place for her to be.
Yeah, 100%. I think in our current society, sometimes we have to label things so other stuff can happen, like sidewalk curb ramps and things like that. You have to have a label to identify the issue so that we actually make space for people who aren't able-bodied in certain ways. And so there are a lot of resources that can be accessed by different people. And I think the big problem is when people cannot empathize with others who are different from them and understand that I am able to do X, so I want to help this other person be able to do X. You know?
Yeah.
They might do it in a different way, but that's okay. And I want to help them do that. And often people don't want to spend their time or their money or anything to help others. And I think that it's great this show demonstrates through the people of Jackson Hole that it doesn't matter who you are, you're a live body. We're going to put you to work.
And you want to because you're a part of that society.
Yeah, exactly. The next set of scenes, Ellie and Jesse try to find Joel and Dina, and the horde attacks the town. So here, Ellie and Jesse chill and this is where we see the bong
The
gas
wheat bong.
mask. Then they go and find Dina and Joel. The town finds the horde mycelium. Dina, Joel, and Ellie are being chased by the horde that changes direction to the town. The town is attacked. People take cover, and the rest are setting up the defenses. They use oil barrels to light the zombies on fire, and Abby convinces Joel and Dina to go back to the lodge by lying to them.
So, okay, at the end of this, we'll talk just about this episode. At the end of it, so the guy's running and yelling, Tommy, Tommy, because he found the mycelium, right? He's heading to warn him about that. And then the alarm starts sounding for the horde attack. So at the end of this episode, Tommy doesn't know about the mycelium, is the way I took it, because it's never addressed. I'm like, well, did that guy get killed in the attack? And did it just not come up? Because like, there's no addressing of it.
Interesting.
Like he starts to warn him, and then it's just right on into the attack scene. I'm like, yeah, they don't talk about this.
I feel like there's a jump. So you hear him yelling at Tommy, and then you see another person see them. So maybe in the time that guy's seeing the horde coming, the other guy's telling Tommy about the mycelium in the pipe, and that's why Tommy's running to the gate and being like, let's get ready. And then it's kind of all happening simultaneously. So I think he probably does know.
Okay.
We just didn't see him give the information. And sometimes that is annoying when that happens.
Yeah.
For example, when we were talking about insurrection on Green Shirt, which will come up again in this scene, there's a scene where Riker and Geordi are going off to send a message, and they fight this big battle, but then you never see them send the message.
Yeah. We got it.
Can we just have the guy say, there's a mycelium in the pipe?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I can understand how writers might think this is the less important thing. It's just a piece of information. It's boring. That's me trying to like give a reason to their opinion, because to me, it's the payoff. I just watched with my sister the third Bridget Jones's Diary, and there's a scene where her boot gets stuck in some mud and she leaves it. She abandons the boot. And I, as someone who has been tortured by this exact thing of like, we don't care, nobody cares. Later in the movie, the guy that was pursuing her brings that boot to her, and there was payoff, and I felt really good about it. Like, you're torturing people by not giving them that payoff, writers.
Yes.
Okay?
Because then we have to spend, 3 minutes talking about it right here.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and I mean, they did it. They did a setup at the end of the last episode. They did a second, like part 1, they showed us the mycelium. Part 2, they showed us just the discovery.
Yeah.
I'm like, is there a part 3? Because I do know, I've seen the third episode. I'm like, not mentioned at all in episode 3.
Nope.
So
I think you actually do see them repairing the pipe in episode 3.
yeah.
And removing the
brambles,
wood and brambles and mycelium. Yeah. So that's your payoff.
But
is that
it's inconsequential. Then why did they do a dun 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 style reveal of it in episode
John,
1?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And so I've watched a lot of different reviews on parts of The Last of Us, and one of the reviews is talking about the first season. They're like, so they step on some of the mycelium, and that causes, the whole tragic death of Joel's girlfriend, and then they never talk about the mycelium again. And I was like, well, in season 2 it did become a major attack, but they're kind of making it important when they wanted to, and then not important the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Well, the moment they opened up that pipe, the first scene show the mycelium, I immediately knew. I was like, that pipe's got mycelium.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
This whole world
as
is
a
coated
TV
with
watcher,
zombies.
Yeah. So, John, maybe you and I are copacetic on this scene, because just like in Insurrection, when the villagers are walking through the hills, it feels very much like the fucking Two Towers. And I am like, this is shot for shot, Helm's Deep, Attack of the Orcs. Is that what you wanted to talk about?
That, and also, you had 5 years to prepare defenses. And that's the longest you could hold out against one bloater. You had 5 years. Also, logs are way stronger than that. Double. Have you heard of perpendicular bracing on walls? Like 5 years.
I wrote in my notes, John has a better plan, I assume.
Like, boy, it's good 100%. You guys had dogs because they turned the tide, apparently.
Yes.
Like, all those 4 dogs killed a bunch of infected.
It's like Red Alert, where they just one-shot all the human characters, the bio units.
I totally agree. I was like, how are they breaking in so fast? Mm-hmm. I know that they didn't have as much material as they wanted to build houses, but all of that material should have been going to the walls.
Yeah. That's a beautiful, like, we can make the town stronger, or we can make more people who will die when the town gets inevitably breached.
Exactly.
That's a cool dilemma.
Yeah.
And also fencing. Just like, then put fence behind it. Even if they break through the wood, if it's like got a little bit something else.
But Marcy, there hasn't been a whole episode dedicated to how defensible a space can be made with fencing in this world, in this series. We haven't seen any examples of how you can make defensible space in this series.
Nobody had a whole town to themselves.
Bill and Frank.
Exactly. It's like, and nobody who is helping run this town knew those guys. So, oh wait, Joel's there. That's right.
Yeah, and he's a contractor, and Macaulay Culkin exists in this universe.
And also, it's Wyoming. There's oil everywhere.
There's oil.
There's like a few barrels. Like, no. There's oil everywhere in Wyoming.
They should have had a moat of oil.
Yes.
Oh, a moat.
Yeah,
Anything. Okay.
Yeah.
A moat. Yep.
So I do want to talk about the Helm's Deep comparisons really quick because I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd and we all love Lord of the Rings. Is this something do I have to tolerate this about you if you don't like it, Paul, John?
I like Lord of the Rings.
Okay, good.
My sister is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I don't think I'd be alive today if it wasn't for Lord of the Rings.
So there's the attack from the zombies. We have Tommy trying to be Aragorn. Sorry, he doesn't do it as well. And he's like, Jackson Hole! And then like...
That's what I wrote in my notes. You said it perfectly.
Exactly like Aragorn being like, Helm's Deep! And he's like yelling and getting them all worked up. And then there's the scene, just like the orc with the giant torch, where we see the bloater. That actually comes up in the next scene, but I don't care. I'm talking about it now so we can get it over with. And he's like, oh, he sees it. And I almost got a clip of Aragorn calling out to Legolas to parallel it here, but unfortunately Aragorn is speaking in Elvish, so nobody would understand it, but he's like, Legolas, kill him!
Fronta free!
So in that scene, Tommy is basically Legolas and Aragorn, but he doesn't even shoot the bloater. Like, shoot him in the head. Get him in the eye. Aren't you a fucking sniper? You were just teaching Ellie how to do it the previous episode.
Yeah. You got that military training. Yeah.
Legolas missed. He didn't miss, but he couldn't kill him. It was basically the exact same scene, John.
Yes, exact same. It was a Helm's Deep attack. It's just like, man, they should have held out longer. They could.
Yes.
It's
like 2 seconds, John. Maybe 2 minutes that they held out.
Yeah, it's like, wait, your gate defense is to roll a couple cars up and put chocks behind the wheels? Like, 5 years you've had to ready defenses.
4 guys have to stand there with flamethrowers?
Yeah. Gas, flamethrowers, gas, like pressurized gas. Again, Wyoming has oil. Flamethrowers don't use pressurized gas. They use liquid, which sticks to the thing that it's burning. Like, I'm like, oh, man, what is going on here?
But did you see the mechanisms they had for the little tubes that they rolled the barrels out? They spent so much effort on those mechanisms.
Oh, no. Somebody was happy with those for sure. So it's like you were preparing for a giant horde attack. You had those.
And you had 3 barrels?
And you had, 3 barrels of, God.
Dude, we'd be so good in an apocalypse. I mean, if John somehow made it here, or we made it to Utah, our compound would be so amazing.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I did want to mention, I was like, what is it when people are throwing shit from walls? There must be a word for that. And there is. It's called machicolations or MACHICO-lations. And they're the openings that people can throw shit down on others on like
In a
a
battlement or something?
parapet
Oh,
or something.
I see.
Anyway, so I did a random look at that. But the next scene is something that Paul really wanted, which was the scene where Joel sees the town on fire and Abby convinces him through lying to go back to the lodge. So let's listen to that.
Whoa! Whoa!
What? Oh, God.
I have to go back.
We won't make it.
If I don't make it, I don't make it.
We're almost there. The lodge is just up ahead. It's like a minute. We've got blankets, ammo. My friends can help you get back. We can fight.
I guess technically not a lie. We can fight. They didn't actually fight. It's still, yeah, I wrote, Abby lies, new lie to help Joel do the thing. She's just like, come to my trap.
Yeah.
I must kill you slowly.
She is so fucking lucky.
Seriously.
She must believe in a god because everything is coming out.
Working
like,
out, Abby.
Yep.
Fucking BITCH.
She must feel so lucky that she leaves Joel's gun behind when they leave so that Ellie can have it later. I mean,
yeah.
Aren't you in an apocalypse?
I think they take it off of him, right?
Yeah, but then they leave it there because
yeah.
Like,
Because we got no beef with
kind of
Jackson
them.
Hole aside from the war that we just caused them.
Guess they'll need this.
Mm-hmm.
I just ran 1 billion zombies into their town and murdered hundreds of people.
Yeah.
The one bright side is there's now a lot of available housing for the new people.
Yeah. Gentrification. Yeah.
She is really good at acting, though, because I did not see any hint of I want to murder you on her. The whole time she's with Joel, she plays the innocent act really well. Gotta give it to her.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of already talked about the town's walls being breached. That's the next scene. And then we get Tommy versus the bloater, and they release the dog. So let's go a little deeper into that scene. I want to review again that we've got the zombies entering the wall. And then, like you said, there's like a hole for them to go through. And then four guys. Just four guys and a couple like to the sides with flamethrowers.
On the ground.
On the ground. Why? I'm sorry. I'm a coward at heart probably because I would have been like, I don't like them odds. Like, I'm out of here, bro, too. Like,
yeah. What year is Cordyceps supposed to have broken out in this show?
It's 2009, I think, is when.
Okay. That's right, because it's 2029. Yeah. So World War Z had been written by then. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
World War Z had been written, and there's great ideas in World War Z, especially like, don't stand on the ground when you're fighting something. Like, I don't know.
How did the zombies get to them on the roof so fast?
Really
so
fast. Yeah.
First of all, don't you have those doors? All of them should have like a giant barricade. And so were they climbing the walls? And if so, then there should be one person watching the walls and one person shooting down. Like, these tactics are very video game dumb kind of tactics.
Yeah. Again, if we hadn't established that Jackson has been a compound fortress for over a decade now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway.
We get some scenes of Maria, who I love. I love this badass mama. She definitely runs this town. I love that she makes eye contact with Tommy and he makes eye contact with her, but they do their jobs. They know that one of them's probably going to die. Like, the odds are not in their favor. And once the bloater makes eye contact with Maria, Tommy sees it. And so he distracts the bloater to him. And again, video game logic here. He's in a whole horde of zombies and like kills a couple, but none of them attack.
Yeah.
Okay, but maybe the bloater, once it wants its victim, the other zombies leave it alone. They seem to be called by the bloater, so or led by the bloater. And Maria's like, look, like, I got to get our jack up her sleeve here. She runs downstairs. Nope. zombies downstairs.
Nope.
So they didn't come up the stairs. Just saying. And we see the doggies come out of their kennels. And I was like, this is one of the best scenes ever. Those doggies got it. Hero doggies, I love it.
Yeah.
We talked about it in Fallout. This is why we have dogs in war, because they're fearless. They love you. They will attack, murder, kill, whatever you tell them to for love, man.
Yeah.
It was a great dog scene. Like, it's like, yes, hero dogs always make for good viewing. And they focused on them enough and showed them their impact enough. Because, like, immediately the tide of the battle turns. Like, that shot of the dogs being released, the dogs running into the horde, like, that's like, okay, tide turns and the humans start taking Jackson Hole back.
Right.
It's like, great, awesome. We get a nice hinge here where a battle is turned, much like Tommy turns into an alley and gets stuck in a town that he's lived in for 10 years.
Fucking idiot. Stupid, too late Tommy, always picking the wrong alley.
It's such a good segue. Oh, God. It's such a funny scene. Like, they do Tommy so dirty in this show.
They're so mean to him all the time.
like he's just like, flamethrower. And he just lives by luck.
Yep.
The bloater falls down. He doesn't like do any cool Joel shit. He's just like runs out of fuel source for his flamer, and then the bloater falls down dead.
They didn't focus on his pants, but I'm sure that they had urine on them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor Tommy.
He's gonna get done more dirty. I'm not spoilering, but like he's gonna be a bitter man.
Oh, man, a poor guy.
I'm just going to say, though, that with the dogs turning the events of the battle, it's too bad Ellie is a horse girl, because if she had a dog with her, she would have been able to save Joel.
Yep.
Just saying, because that would have been me. I would have had my Paco dogs with me.
You'd be John Wick 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, they'd be like holding down my dog, and I'd be like, no, my puppy.
I kind of would have liked to see other non-combat dogs there, like a Chihuahua that's just like, yeah, get them, boys.
Yeah. It is weird they don't have dogs going on patrol. Like,
that is weird.
Yeah.
And also, where'd they get all those German Shepherds? Because I feel like they would just have a big mess of mutts that were their dogs. And somebody must have military dog training, too, because it takes a lot to train dogs to be killer dogs. Like, not every dog is built to do that.
Yeah.
So,
especially undirected. They're just like, I know my job. Let's do it.
Exactly.
But they did have the killer dogs in season 1. So, like, we know they've
did.
had multiple years of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all those German Shepherds would have had hip dysplasia by now.
Oh.
Oh, reality.
All right, so now we're getting down to the real business of this episode. The next scene is the lodge, where Abby confronts Joel.
All right, bye guys. It was fun. See ya.
I'm not going to do a recap of it because we have a lot of clips from it. So I'm just going to go through our different clips, but this is the scene where Joel and Dina come into the lodge, and then Abby takes Dina hostage, and Joel is at their mercy. So the first clip we have is where Abby confronts Joel.
Okay, everybody grab blankets, ammo, whatever weapons you have. We're heading out in 3 minutes.
Sorry, I'm Abby. This is Nora, Manny, Owen, and Mel.
Jackson, come in. Tommy, come in. Do you copy?
Her name's Dina.
Jackson, come in.
Dina?
Jackson.
And he is Joel.
Jackson, do you copy? Does anyone copy? Any patrols? Anyone? Tommy, if you can hear me.
Joel.
The music is so good.
We're not gonna hurt her. Not if you cooperate. We're just gonna put her to sleep for a while.
That sounds ominous too, by the way.
Trust me.
Yeah.
It's for the best. Do it. If you don't do it, I'm gonna smash her in the fucking head.
You wanna rob us? Fine. Take what you want.
Do we look like raiders to you?
Yes?
No.
What do we look like?
Military. Fireflies.
Used to be. Haven't you heard? There are no more fireflies. They're all gone.
So they were prepared to knock somebody out. They came prepared to have Joel
right.
with somebody and drug that person. So they really didn't want to kill anybody else besides the
That's an
hundreds of people they
interesting point.
unleashed the horde on.
The medic didn't.
In the game, it was Tommy in this scene, and they did smash his fucking head in and gave him a TBI, traumatic brain injury. They're much kinder in the show.
I mean, I think it again shows or illustrates there's different types of people in Abby's gang. And this medic has already questioned when she was like, let's take somebody in, find out where he is. And they're like, no, we can't do that. We're not going to hurt anybody. You told me. And so I know this medic has already pre-planned, because she knows Abby's such a bitch, that she was going to have some other way to subdue people so that Abby didn't beat them unconscious. That's my take on it. But yes, there was some pre-planning, it seemed, before. But now Abby's kind of just gone sort of off the rails a little bit.
Okay. So after a major... Is she charismatic enough? And this is not an attack on Caitlin Dever. I think she's a great actor. I really enjoyed her in Justified. Is Abby a charismatic enough person to hold a group of stragglers together after an event like Salt Lake City for 5 years to travel 1,500 miles between Salt Lake to Seattle, back to Wyoming? They're really
grudge.
asking us to believe that there is nothing else going on in Seattle or anywhere else, that these people be like, hey, Abby, good luck. I'm going to go do something else with my life.
Well, I feel like they probably all stayed together. And here's the thing. I know it's not at all equivalent, but when I did graduate school, it felt like, I've talked about this before, it felt like I went to war because we were like all sleep deprived. Like everybody was in it for the same reason. Like we were a cohort unit together, and all the like hours and hours of study and just all that stuff. And so even there was lots of people that I'm not wouldn't be friends with necessarily, but in that time of hardship, I would have done anything for all 30 of those people in that moment because they were experiencing the same thing as me. And I feel like those, however many, 5, is it? 6 people experienced that moment with the Fireflies. I think sure it was traumatic for all of them. She just was the most traumatic because a loved one had died who had lived through the apocalypse, basically. And I think that whether or not she's charismatic, if Paul or John or Andrew or Ashley or Leslie, any of my best friends were to say I need you to do this thing, and maybe I don't agree with it or I don't really want to do the thing, but we've been through so much together, I would be like, well, you probably have a good reason for it. Because it seems like she's pretty reasonable outside of this obsession that she has. But you're right. The charisma isn't there. It's all harsh. But she has enough of those types of people in the gang that feel similarly to her about brutality. There's the guy that kicks Ellie later, who obviously enjoys that aspect of it. So if you get enough backing and there's enough people that aren't willing to say no, then you're just going to be able to do it whether you have charisma or not, I think.
And they don't really say it, at least so far in the show, but in the game, Mel grew up with the dad who was shot, the doctor dad. That's why she's a medic. She's learned, she's more of a daughter to the dead guy than Abby was, and there's like a kind of a jealousy issue going on there, which could be a cool parallel with Dina in the show being more of a daughter in the first 2 episodes.
Interesting.
Okay. See, even that makes more sense. There's just a lot of information missing so far.
Yeah.
That it's like, I'm really not finding anything to sympathize with here. Like, yes, besides tragic loss, it's like, this is a long time to carry this in a post-apocalyptic world. It's a long time. You could be
depressed, but like, are you going to travel that much in that much danger just for some grudge? Like, come on.
Right. And I'm sure other people have had a horrible loss just like that.
Everybody.
And not taken this journey.
Literally everybody has had a bad life.
Yeah. And this is in between kind of this and the next clip is the scene where she goes, "You actually are pretty handsome. Congrats on that." And I think it's so funny. All the memes from just that one comment that came out of this and TikTok just kept me going after the murder of Joel, because literally they're thinking about how when Abby is talking or interrogating the nurses, all of them were like, and also he was quite handsome and hot. Like, what a hot guy. So people are making fun of that all over on the internet, and it is amazing. So look for memes of the nurses saying Joel is handsome. So it's kind of it's a very weird moment that she says that. And then we come to the next part of that monologue, which is the part where Abby talks about her code. So let's listen to that.
I've been in a militia for 5 years now. Seattle. I'd warn you not to go there, but little chance of that. Anyway, our commander trained us to follow a code. We don't kill people that can't defend themselves.
Because it's a waste of ammo.
And right now, that's you. But I am going to kill you. Because it doesn't matter if you have a code like me, or you're a lawless piece of shit like you. There are just some things everyone agrees are just fucking wrong.
She needs a therapist.
Very much so.
Yeah, she does.
Also, when you abandon your code when it's convenient, it's not a code.
Yeah.
True that, Paul. And I do want people to take note of this speech, because Ellie gives a speech in episode 3 where they almost say some word for word things the same about lawlessness and who's bad and who's good, and we have to have justice whether or not we like it or not. And so when I rewatched this, I was like, oh, that's again that Ellie Abby similarity, that they see the world in very much the same way, that us versus them.
The last of us versus the last of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abby continues to monologue. It's a long
monologue. I'm glad when Joel finally speaks up, because it's like, is he gonna say anything here?
Right.
Yes.
Like, shut up.
Do have Joel's last words. So let's listen to that quick moment.
But this is an improvement on the game.
Oh, it's funny. I have waited
just shut the fuck up and do it already.
Seriously, like, I'm ready for it to happen.
You've already tortured him by talking so much.
It's like, all you had to say is you killed my dad, I'm gonna kill you. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, she didn't even, like, from the one guy who could have told her why he did it. She didn't even ask. Nope. She didn't care. Who knows? Maybe her dad was a rapist and Joel put him down. She didn't ask. She didn't know. She didn't want to know. And also, I would like to say that not only is torture wrong on ethical levels, it's wrong on practical levels because she gave him so much time for backup to come and thwart her. Luckily, her crew stopped Ellie from like shooting her in the back of the head. But like, yeah, he could have like had some hidden thing that he pulled out at the last moment and stabbed her in the neck. Like, torture is stupid wrong. You're not going to get information out of them. You're not going to get satisfaction out of them. You're going to get nightmares. There is zero good reason to torture ever.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this idea of torture, and I actually don't think she's torturing him. She's letting all of her rage just out on him. So in that sense, it's more about her finally getting the satisfaction of like rage killing him. Because
but she's
she
risking,
wasn't trying to get information.
She's risking her satisfaction by making it take so long because he had more time to stop her.
Which is funny because she's also like kneeling right over him.
Mm-hmm.
Did either of you watch Game of Thrones?
Never. I've never. What is a Game of Thrones?
Up to season 3.
Okay. Well, there's a scene in Game of Thrones where a guy is getting revenge on the mountain, on the big, huge, monster of a soldier. He's very fast. The mountain's very slow. They're having a duel. He's like small cuts slashing the guy, but he's very angry, letting his rage get a hold of him. And finally the mountain trips him, grabs him, and just smashes his skull and his eyes. That guy was played by Pedro Pascal. I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, just fucking mountain her, just reach up and grab her. There, like, you could have her dead in 5 seconds and none of her crew would be able to react in time to save her. Like, she's right there, Joel. Like, ugh. Anyway.
That actually happens twice.
Yeah.
When the medic tourniquets him, he could have grabbed the medic. Her face was right next to him.
And that was when he was at his best, aside from the shotgun to the knee.
There was multiple times when I was like, Joel wouldn't have just like listened.
Taken it,
But maybe he just knew like...
Or her mock comeuppance.
Already kind of gave up because there were so many of them and he knew that she would kill Dina if he did anything. That was the other thing that held over his head.
Which they deliberately, that's one reason why it wasn't Tommy in that scene. Unlike the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. Oh, I do like that I know it's silly that his last words were cursing. Because again, this shows you that Joel and Ellie are father and daughter, as much as that therapist says they're not. Like, they both like the same things. Like, she learned so much from him. They're very much the same person in terms of like how they think and feel and act. And that would have been Ellie would have done the exact same thing. She would be like, just fucking kill me already. And so I love that moment. Even though it's not as satisfying as maybe for some people as it was for me, but it just shows the connection that Ellie and Joel have, that they are always this person that's going to like defy whatever anybody is trying to do to them and be like the hero even in when they die,
Also, that was the episode that made me not want to watch Game of Thrones anymore. Literally, he was my favorite character, Pedro Pascal there. Not for any like real reasons. He was just really cool and interesting and charismatic and fun. And then he just gets his head crushed. And I was like, I think I'm done with this show.
Yeah. And then we can tell that Joel is a little scared in the last sequence. Like, you see in his eyes the fear, which I think is important for us to see because she's going to be the main villain. And seeing Joel knows Ellie, so he knows to be afraid of girls because they're very vicious. So again, we kind of switch gears here and we get the next scene where Joel dies, but Jackson Hole lives. So I'm going to just go straight into it, not give the recap. Ellie sees horse tracks, and then you see again the medic is turning away because Abby is just beating Joel to death.
None of her group are into this.
No.
Yeah. Joel's face is like a pile of meat, and Ellie sneaks upstairs and hears, as she's sneaking, the raged screams or like effortful punches of Abby, and then has her gun and her switchblade at the ready, and then is shocked to see Joel on the ground being beaten and gets attacked. And then she gets a few slices in at the more brutal of her gang, but she gets tossed to the ground. And
The end. It was a nice show to see everybody.
Yeah. So, what happens next? Oh, Owen is basically like, just finish it already. And then Ellie is screaming. So let's just listen to it so I can cry and not have to describe it because that'll make me cry even more.
Stupid fuck no! No!
Joel, get up! Joel, get up! Joel, fucking get up! Joel, get up.
He tries to get up.
End it.
Joel, get up. Please. Please get up. Get up. Fucking get up! Get up. Get up. No. Please, no, please don't, please don't do it, please. Please don't, please don't.
You can definitely hear Bella Ramsey's accent in that a little bit.
Yes, you can. It's like, oh, wow, that's a very emotional performance because she's got a good American accent.
She does.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice that until I just listened to it in my headphones.
Bella Ramsey was listening to Peanut Butter Jelly Time to get over the stress of acting these scenes.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, you can tell how much love Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal have for each other just by watching them in any interviews that they do. And so I can't imagine having to prepare for this kind of scene as an actor because, you know, in some ways you have to have that kind of love for the other actor to, I think, express this kind of pain. It really was a good dramatic scene. Like, I wasn't shocked because I knew it was going to happen because I had heard from Paul that that was part of the storyline of Last of Us 2. But I was holding out hope because I am, even though I seem quite cynical, I am more hopeful than Paul, at least, in most things.
And yet, in the part where Abby says, in my code, we don't kill people who are unable to defend themselves, I was like, the out! Maybe she won't kill him now.
Yeah. But it was a very well done death scene. Like, I think I died when she's like asking him to get up and Joel kind of
like,
barely
tries to,
lifts. Yeah. He tries and it's like, you know, there was the parallel scene from season 1 where he's dying from the infection and she tells him to get up, Joel, get up, and he does. And so it's sort of illustrating that, you know, there are moments when even our heroes can't get up. And then he leaves his mantle basically to Abby in this moment of showing her, even in your last moments, you can try, right?
Do you mean to Ellie?
To Ellie, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I say?
Abby.
You said Abby, yeah.
Oh, God. It's hard. Their names are so alike.
Yep.
Because they're the same person, different sides of the conflict.
They both lost their father figure at 19 years old. It's like, okay, not subtle on the violence is a cycle metaphor here show, but hey, that's fine. Right. It's not a subtle show, so.
I don't think we need to go into great detail about the scene. It's sad. I cried.
Pooped myself a little.
But I do want to talk about these kinds of moments in shows, and Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead. Actually, I think it was The Walking Dead kind of started this trend where they would kill off a main character that people loved. And the moment that I remember the most was actually Negan killing Glenn in The Walking Dead. And I remember watching not hundreds, a lot of reaction videos to that scene because it was like fascinating to see how emotional people become when they see a person that they've kind of lived with on this TV show die. Like it's a person that they know. And so there's a parallel there too. Like Negan kills Glenn with a baseball bat and Abby kills Joel with a golf club. So somebody make that meme.
So I literally had one rule when watching The Walking Dead. And I read the comics, but I don't think I read them up to the Negan part. But my one rule watching Walking Dead was if Glenn commits murder or dies, I'm out. And then it happened and I fucking stopped watching it.
Oh man, you made it way further than I did. 'Cause I made it like 2 seasons, which is about as far as I made it in the comics. I'm like, I'd like to feel good at some point while watching even a sad show at some point. But it is interesting because this kind of thing, you know, has become more the emotion, the audience's reaction to deaths like these, I think has gotten really, really hyper amplified in like the last 10 years or so. Probably just in response to, yes, TV is better and does make you feel more with characters than it used to. It's better produced, but even back then, like there are shocking deaths, quite a bit that I would say, I think for our generation, for millennials on down, like Buffy's mom unceremoniously, either has to be a very dramatic set piece death like a Glenn or a Joel, or a very unceremonious, just without a second thought death with you know, a Tasha Yar, a Buffy's mom,
and the death of Crusher from TNG.
Yep, exactly.
I was just gonna ask you guys what fucked you guys up the most. I think for me it was Littlefoot's mom.
Yeah. But even that's a set piece death. Even that's a set piece. I know it's a set piece. I would say I was a
kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Obviously that fucked us up bad. Like Littlefoot's mom.
Yeah.
I think as a teenager, early 20s, I remember the first, like, besides Tasha Yar and TNG, anybody of the very few people who watched the Terminator TV show, there's a character is very unceremoniously killed by a Terminator near the end of the season, and it's like, whoa, I really liked him. Like it's just not even a second, like there's no farewell anything. It's just bam, shot, gone. And I was like, oh, that's shocking how that happens. So yeah, there's those two types of death that really get people to feel different ways. Either you don't get any warning or you get a lot of warning. And you know,
tainted meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think one of the ones that I was surprised about was the Firefly movie when they killed Wash.
Wash,
yeah. It was kind of a good mix of set piece and then just shocking out of nowhere. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's because I'm just a nerd, but you can't stop the signal, Mal.
Kill with the sword, Mal. What weird is that?
Oh, yeah. So we did get a couple of responses. I asked people to write in about how they felt at the end of this episode. And of course, our good friend over at Realm News wrote in. He's great. The Dark Lord Greg said, I didn't cry, although my heart did when Joel was murdered. I didn't play the games all the way through, so it was a major shock for me to see such a major character die just like that. Yeah. And
right there with you,
Melanie, who was a co-host on First Flight podcast for their first season, says they were shocked and devastated and clarified that they had not played the game. Oh. So I am kind of surprised. Yes, you should be shocked. Most people aren't gamers, but this game has been out a long time. Yeah. And that was another thing that TikTok did. Like, a lot of the gamer husbands never told their wives about this secret. And so they filmed their wife, like, watching that scene in The Last of Us and how upset people were getting their reactions to it. Because we have held in this secret for a long time. Like, everybody who played the game probably didn't tell anybody else who didn't play the game. And so I thought that, like, was a really good cultural thing that people did for them, is allow them to be hurt devastatingly by this shocking event.
And filmed it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I remember the first trailer for The Last of Us 2 coming out, and it's Ellie sitting there playing a guitar and then saying, "I'm going to kill every one of them, Joel." I'm like, oh, so Joel dies in the second game. Okay. Like
Yeah.
they literally announced it in the first trailer that Joel was going to die.
They do.
Like,
It's not that they weren't hiding it, but
No.
it was like a little ambiguous. But
Yeah.
they released a duet where Ashley, the two voice actors, did a duet.
Ashley
Johnson, thank you. They did a duet, and in the duet, he only has like one part that he sings. Like he's playing the guitar through the whole thing, and like that's another hint. Like his song is a response to her sorrow. And like, yeah, Through the Valley is the name of this episode. It's based off of a Sean James song, also called Through the Valley. It's played in the actual video, in the scene where we were talking about last episode where he takes the guitar out. In the game, she's listening to this song as he brings her the guitar. And yeah, it's a fucking awesome song, and everyone should all hear it. And it's definitely, it's religious. It is based off of As I Walk Through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, I Will Fear No blah, blah, blah. It is a very religious song, but like in the party scene, the whole band was playing religious music in a church. Like there's a religion, especially like the Old Testament style religion is deeply ingrained in Last of Us. And it's, vengeance and righteous fury. That's kind of all I had to say about that.
Well, so that leads us to the next closing sequence in this episode, where they're playing that ending song, which is a cover of that Sean James Through the Valley. And it's quite haunting. You see that Jesse arrives at the lodge, and we kind of skipped over the fact that Ellie got kicked in the ribs, and you can kind of like hear her wheezing as she crawls over to Joel and lays with him as he dies. And so she has been severely injured. And then it kind of cuts to the town where Tommy and Maria reunite, and you see people mercy killing those who have been bitten. And then the final scene is Dina is on one horse, and Jesse and Ellie on another horse, and they are taking Joel's body back to Jackson Hole, and that's the end. And the very last line of the song that's like sung as they're riding off is, "I know when I die, my soul is dead." And I think that's kind of a very Joel and Ellie way to think about life. Like, live life in the moment, that like my soul, I don't know. How do you interpret that line? I know when I die, my soul is dead.
There's nothing to live for, but they're still living, is how I interpret that.
It's especially because this is a post-apocalyptic thing. It's like the world ended. Like, you know, a lot of people would question, why am I still fighting? Like, why would we still push? Why would we rebuild the community, the world? Like, we're not getting the world back.
Yeah.
This is, and you know, it is in the same vein of The Walking Dead. It's in the same vein a lot of these post-apocalyptic, again, except for World War Z, where it's like, no, there's no goal, there's no end to this where there's a happy ending. There's no we come back from this. And so I think it fits very well, especially because I think it was the voice actor singing this cover, like you said.
It was.
Yeah. And
that was Ashley Johnson's voice then for the cover?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also, since it is a very religion based, like, especially if it's Old Testament based, that's not what the Old Testament says. It's like, when you die, your soul goes to heaven. Your soul lives on eternal. And so it's a complete refutation of that deeply held tenet of Catholicism and Christianity.
That's kind of what I was thinking, is that it's more like a atheist statement of that, you know, we have this one life to live it well, you know, and I think this whole next part of The Last of Us season 2 is us learning if Ellie is going to go the way of Joel and just always have that us-them mentality, or is she going to find a way to escape that almost fate of becoming just like him? Even though he wasn't a bad person per se, his tenets were very strict, right?
Yeah.
And so is she going to step out of that, or is she going to continue down this path?
And the way you said that made me think of Kill Bill, where she kills the one and then the child walks in. And she's like, I expect you to come after me eventually.
Right. I think, I mean, the way I take it is Joel always expected this was going to be something like this was how he would die. Not getting bitten, not getting infected, not in a, no. He was going to be, he was going to be killed. Well, that or just he knows that he has done,
there's no good ending,
done horrible things. Yeah. There's nothing like, this is how his ending was always going to be. It was never going to be old age. And probably at a certain point when he hit 60, he's like, all right, is this going to happen? Anytime, like, time's ticket here. I'm getting old. Like, for what's going on, I'm at the peak. Like, there's not a lot of years left in the average lifespan. So
I like how you said that, because it sort of reframes the previous episode when he's talking about bringing in refugees as like, every refugee we bring in could be the one who kills me.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think the only reason he kept on living to begin with, because his story started episode 1, where we see he's basically a shell of a person, and he becomes a human again because of Ellie. So the only person he would ever try to live for again is Ellie. Yeah. And so in that moment, he did try for her, but you're right. I think he knew that maybe that's why he didn't attack them during that moment, for many reasons, but because maybe he thinks he holds the Old Testament to heart and thinks he deserves to die from the hands of this girl to some degree, because he did do what she said. And he did a lot of that, I'm sure, in the early days of the apocalypse. Horrible things that he can't talk about, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he is a complex character, but John, I think you're right that they are not giving that complexity to Abby yet. Yeah. And I feel like that's going to come, though I wonder when, because
it's like 6 episodes of this whole season, right? Or 7?
Episode 4. And like, I was like, Abby's not even in it, is she?
She's not in 3 I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think she's in 3 or 4. Maybe she is. We'll find out because we're going to review them. But I don't know. It's very interesting. I think it was a well done killing of a character. They gave him that extra time in that first episode for us to see him, and I think they did a good job with it. And I'm glad, Paul, like you said, that they didn't drag it out, because then people would be even more devastated.
Right. Yeah.
So they pulled the Band-Aid off in episode 2, and I'm happy that they did that. And now we can move on to the rest of the storyline. And there's some good stuff in episode 3 and 4.
Yeah. So something you said earlier, John, made me think maybe I'm just a hopeful person at heart. I suddenly want to see a future season where like they have a moon colony because the mycelium make a really good like habitat or something.
So you're talking about Star Trek Discovery, where they travel to the mycelial network.
I never watched that show.
Anyway, you can hear me on Open Pike Night discussing Star Trek Discovery Season 2 right now, just before the 3rd season of Strange New Worlds kicks off in June.
That is awesome.
In June?
June 14th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, June 14th. It's launching, premiering at the Tribeca Film Festival for some reason, but hey, it's been 2 damn years, so... Longest cliffhanger in Star Trek history ever. Yep. It's been a long time.
Well, I'm excited for that because I love your show, Open Pike, and I love Strange New Worlds. It's the best new Star Trek show.
Hands down.
Sorry, everybody. Other than, like, I really like Lower Decks, but it's a different medium, right?
Yeah.
So
Like how Orville
yeah,
isn't
I can't
really
wait
Star
for
Trek,
that.
but it's very Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
It
exactly.
is, yeah. Great. And you do also produce on Green Shirt,
Yep.
as well. So what's headed for Green Shirt now?
So Green Shirt is Cameron's show about watching Next Generation for the first time. We just finished with the last movie, Nemesis. We're going to take a little break while we cover Strange New Worlds on Open Pike. We're going to take a break for the summer, and then we're going to keep on doing the DS9 Minute, where we're covering Deep Space Nine in every episode in 9 minutes, and probably something like similar like that for Voyager. But Green Shirt will go on. It'll always be there. Green Shirt, Newbie's Trek Through the Next Generation. All the episodes will drop there, even as we get through DS9 into Voyager, Enterprise. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is there, but going to just take a little break for the summer and focus on one Star Trek podcast at a time.
That makes sense. Yeah. I can barely focus on this one, so I can't imagine having two. And so then the next episode for The Last of Us is called The Path. And we've given little snippets here and there, but we're kind of catching up to the episodes. We'll see you at that time. But if you want to go ahead and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, we'd sure appreciate it, because every rating is important to help people know that you like this show and that it's good. And we got through it, folks. And now we're on to Ellie's journey. So thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.